Hey guys, welcome to the next episode of Fisher Random Banter Blitz. As far as I understand, there is still no other way you can challenge me for a game. Very sorry for that, but unfortunately, I cannot fix it. So, let's play some fun games. I believe there is still, uh, just normal chess without the right of castling, right, for both sides, as far as I understand. I already have several challenges. Let me just take it one by one, I guess. So here we go. The first game will be against Kramnik student. I'll accept it. So let me see what's going on here. I'm playing with white pieces. So just a sec, I will activate the board. All right, here we go. And let's play e4. So last time I usually played something more closed, but this time I'm going to try something open. Let's see how this will affect the position. So normal Sicilian so far, but we shouldn't forget we cannot castle. I mean, we both cannot castle. So which way of developing the pieces will be the best? I'm not quite sure, but let's see. It's an interesting experimenting, I guess. So e6. I think I can play in a bit more aggressive way here, if compared to what I usually do. Because black's king cannot run away, right? So basically, maybe I can open up the center quickly. With knight on e5, it will be not so simple anymore. At least the e file will be closed for a long time. Fox Riddle says that castling is working now. Interesting. Interesting. In my challenges, every challenge is marked as random. So I don't know what is it for. But let's see. Maybe I will castle next move. Let's have a look. Maybe I can do this. At least I will try. Bishop e7. Okay, what if... Yeah, castling works. Wow. Interesting. So what's that? We're playing normal chess? I expected something exciting like 1 week ago, but okay. Normal chess then. b5. So what do we have in this position? d5 square is very weak. Bishop is going to occupy b7 to exert some pressure along diagonal a8, h1. How to deal with this d5 square? The typical plan, bishop g5, bishop takes f6, is, in my opinion, no longer that promising, because usually it's a good idea when the pawn is on e5 so that this bishop, dark squared bishop, becomes quite passive if compared to the knight. Here, this bishop is not that passive, so I guess black will be all right there. Maybe it makes sense for me then just to play knight e5 immediately. And since position is no longer that closed, maybe I will even think of capturing the bishop instead of the knight. So let's say knight takes e7, queen e7, and then bishop g5. Looks like very annoying pin. Let's have a look at this. Let's try it. Whenever queen goes away, I can capture the knight, damaging the pawn structure. It's a double-edged thing, of course. But we will try to do something with this. Possible ideas are queen e1, queen h4, let's say, to activate the queen. What else? To be completely honest, I don't see anything else. So queen e1, queen h4, then probably rook a to e1, centralizing everything. Then maybe a rook lift, like rook e3, rook h3. That should be interesting. Alright, queen c7, so my opponent gives me a chance to capture an f6. Right now, damaging the pawn structure, but most likely black is going to play along the g file, which may be quite annoying for white. If I don't take the knight, then this knight can go to e4, perhaps. What to do? What to try here? I think we should start with the c3 move. Protecting the knight. Because I want to bring my queen to much more active position somewhere on the king side. And I want to make sure that my knight will be protected against some like queen c5 and so on. Alright, knight e4 is active, but after bishop h4, I somehow limit this knight's activity and want to continue with the f6. If I will have a pawn on f6, it will be very dangerous for black, I believe. And the point here, black has no chance to play f7, f6 since this pawn is pinned. d5. Diagonal is closed, so black is ready to play f6 next move if necessary, but there is also knight to e6, another thing, so black cannot really play f7, f6. Okay, is there a threat? Knight g4? Okay, I just take on g4. There is no threat to my h2. I guess it's a good moment to play this. g6. Now my queen is needed on h6. There is no easy way to get there, because if I play queen to c1, knight just jumps to g4. Is there some like knight f5? Probably. Again, I'm not sure. So what if I just play something like this? Bishop is no longer that needed on that diagonal, and what I'm trying to do is to get rid of this guy, and then maybe to pin the knight. That was my idea, but not sure what I'm doing here. So maybe start with this move. Just very straightforward idea of bringing the queen to h6. Okay, queen is going to f8. Alright. That's a bit annoying. What to do now? Okay, let's deal with this knight. I have no time, by the way. So I have to be much faster than I am at the moment. Attacking the queen. It's impossible, I guess, to take the rook. Okay, so now what? About this. Deflecting the guy. Oh, there was a big blunder. That was a great blunder. My goodness. Yeah. Rook f1 was needed. Okay, now it's lost. Now it's simply lost. Tough game. Tough game. Oh my god. I thought I was winning here. I mean, the basic idea was to deflect the queen, and after queen d6, to play queen h6, attacking both g7 and h7. But the thing is, after queen f6, black protects h8 square. Huh. Yeah, so the initial idea behind this was that if g takes h5, I play bishop d6. Similar idea, I'm just deflecting the queen, but here the file is open, so I have this check. Okay. But after knight takes b2, I should have played something else. Knight f5 was a suggestion, right, from Cobra. Maybe a bit later, but even here it works fine. I mean, knight f5 is very strong. At least at first glance, maybe it's not, because of knight to c4. Controlling d6, that's very important square here. On the other hand, now I can play queen g5. I have a lot of threats, like knight e7, one of them. Probably rook to h7. I'm not sure. No, rook h7 is not a threat at the moment. And maybe it is. So rook h7, king h7, and queen h4 check, king g8, knight h6 check, forcing the king to the h file. Maybe something like knight f7, king goes back to g8. Even their position is unclear. Okay, so maybe somewhere here I should have played something else. So queen there. My rook on a1 is out of play, right? My rook is out of place. Rook h5, knight takes b2. And I don't have enough time here. Okay, let's see what happens if after queen d6 here. Now, if I play knight f5 here, I think I'm not in time. I create a threat of queen h7 and then queen h8 checkmate, but I have a feeling that black has a defense. So how to protect h7 here? Queen h8. gf5 is impossible because I take the queen, right? Yeah, so queen h8 looks like the only move. It looks like it is enough, right? It's just enough. What can I do here? Nothing. Wow. Amazing. Amazing stuff. Yeah, so most likely the whole idea of taking that knight was not great. Maybe I should have played like h3 simply, covering g4 square and then queen c1, queen h6. So similar ideas. And this actually leaves bishop b7 quite passive, limited with the on d5 pawn. Don't know. Position is quite complicated. h3 is actually the move that weakens g3 square, so maybe black has something like knight c4, even preparing knight to g3. By the way, here, if I play queen to c1, there is something like knight to d2. Maybe it's too much, of course, but who knows? Maybe it's okay. Like covering this diagonal, c1, h6, and if I play something like rook to d1, something like queen f4, starts feeling like black is grabbing the initiative or something. I don't know. Okay, very nice game, very interesting one. But it's a pity that it was possible to castle. As I said, I expected Fisher random this time. Okay, Graf von Paulin, accept. So castling is possible. Okie dokie. White pieces. Anyway. So let's get back to something closed. It worked well for me last time. Alright, so black is preparing e5, right? Let's play d4. Stopping it. e6, just c4. Chronic student says a chance to bring Andrey down from 2900s. Yeah, there was a chance. Everybody has a chance to do this to me these days. Because I don't play chess. I don't train. So, playing pretty badly in general. But yeah, it's a pity that the game was unrated. Chronic student, I'm completely agree. Bishop e7, queen c2. So I usually play this with black. Looking at this position from white's perspective feels a bit strange. All right. Rating is not result of future, it's result of the past, never of the present. I I think so. But Blitz rating is probably a result of the not so distant past. So if you don't train regularly, you start playing bad Blitz games. That's the thing. So it's a question of, I don't know, 1 month or something, and you start playing badly. b6, okay, e4. c6 is heading. Okay, it's a typical pattern. Now I think white should be better because of the pawn structure, because of the passive bishop on b7 mainly. First, let's prevent c5. I mean, after knight f6, there was a possibility to play c5. Now, after I go back, there is no c5, at least right now. And my next move will be something like knight to e5. Most likely. As for the statement about the rating is never result of the present, well, it's mainly philosophical question, but well, people are getting old, right? They're somehow old right now in the present. When they're old, they're weak. So I'm getting old. And hence become a weaker chess player. That's okay, that's fine. So now what? Now bishop to e3. As simple as that. Completing the development. Controlling c5 and maybe intending even to play c5 at some point. Especially after this move, I start looking at c5 seriously. Yeah, it gives up d5, but maybe it's not necessary. Alright, let's play f4 instead. No, c5 is not in time. c5 is not what makes my position better there, because it really gives black some play because of that d5. And now there is usually a choice to take the bishop and then to play d5, or maybe to play d5 immediately. Or maybe even to take the bishop on a8 and then to take on c5. Not quite sure what is the best way of playing it, but I like the pawn structure in this situation. So my pawn structure is a bit better. I think it's okay to have such an advantage, just a slight one. Now it's important to make the right move. I think rook d6 is correct because I double rooks, I fight for space, maybe intend to play rook a6. There are many ideas behind this rook d6 move. Your IM title they never take away. That's right, but to be an IM with the FIDE rating like 2200s or something is a nightmare. It's just like to be a grandmaster with a rating 2300s. Just, my goodness. It's better not to be born at all, I guess. All right. Maybe just this. I mean, sort of simplification. Why not? So in the endgame, I think black will have not so much to do. While I will have very simple plan of attacking that pawns. A7 and c5. My knight on e5 is just a perfect guy to cover everything here. The only issue is that I cannot take on c5 now. I blundered it. Okay, so let's go there. Maybe queen e3 was better. Just attacking c5 again. But from d6 I do the same, right? The only problem is that there is knight e4. Potentially annoying. On the other hand, I can come back if I want. Here's the problem. I have no time. But there is there is no tactics. I thought queen f8, rook c8, and knight c6, but there is knight e8 there. Okay. I have no idea. I guess I'm doing something really bad here right now. Something really passive. Was absolutely unnecessary. Now I have only 18 seconds. Feels like I'm going to lose one more game. Whew. Oops, queen. Queen is mine. And checkmate next move. I was super lucky in this game, obviously, because, well, at some point I just completely lost the thread and was really close to lose it. So it felt very good after, rook to c6, queen to b7. Yeah, here I think I have to attack the pawn from the right square. Queen d6 was definitely wrong. Now looking at this from this perspective, I guess maybe queen a5 was the right decision. So look at this move. After queen a5, I control d8, so I prevent the activation of the rook, right? And at the same time, I control b4 square, so queen cannot be activated as well. I still control d7. I attack c5 now twice. There is a threat of rook c7 at the right moment. Maybe queen b5, just simplifying the situation. At least preventing the activation of the queen. I think queen a5 was the right move. Now, even if knight e4, I think I'm fine. So exactly after knight e4, I think I can play rook c7, because there is no longer this queen e4 idea. And then I take the pawn on a7, next move. So, okay. Queen a5 looks quite good. I missed that completely. And in general, it's better for black to avoid this sort of things. So taking on e4 was most likely not a good idea. I understand that you were afraid of e5, but e5 is not that dangerous. In fact, black should be more or less fine here after both bishop b7 or bishop a6. I would have preferred bishop b7, more solid continuation. And if white plays e5, you should be happy, in fact. Yeah, white has more space, no questions. But after knight e8, look at this. My bishop on g2 is seriously limited with this d5. And the main idea of Catalan is to activate this bishop. So by playing e5, I grab the space. No questions. But I fail to reach the main goal, which is to activate the bishop. Now, since I attack d5 only with one pawn, in fact, and you have so many defenders, you can basically easily play c5. So usually the knight from e8 goes to c7, supporting d5 additionally, and then at the right moment, black counterattacks in the center with the help of c6, c5. So that's the thing. White usually keeps this situation with pawns, so attacks this d5 instead of playing e5 or taking, just plays b3, bishop b2, tries to centralize the pieces. But black has counterplay usually, so rook goes to c8 and then c5 at some point. Okay, so don't be afraid of e5. That's the general recommendation in a similar situation. Folks, Rudel, accept. Black pieces now. Okay, so we're going to repeat. I think we're going to repeat the things from our previous game last week. This time, however, we both can castle. That's a big difference. Right, knight c6 first. Oh, c4. That's an interesting thing. Okay, let's take here. Now, potentially, there is an isolated pawn. Bishop is on f4. There may be a transposition to Panov attack. I'm not a big expert there from black's perspective because I've never ever played Caro-Kann. Okay, but I think bishop g4 should be fine. It's okay when the knight is on c3. I hope it will be also not that bad with the bishop on f4. Bishop e2. What's going on? Bishop f3, bishop f3, dc4 is definitely not good. It's too greedy. Immediate dc4, however, looks very good and very logical since bishop moved to e2. dc4 now will somehow I think at least it's a move that creates an isolated pawn at the same time winning the time, at the same time winning the time, winning the tempo, because bishop usually wants to capture on c4 with one move from f1 position. Bishop is already on e2. Moreover, here, when I have the bishop on g4, it's probably not that pleasant for white in general to take on c4. I can probably just win a pawn there. Maybe two. Queen a4. I don't think it's a good idea because of the following. So first, I can do this, I hope. Tempo move attacking the bishop. And the next move will be knight to b6. Attacking the queen and protecting c4. I have a strong feeling that white somehow misplayed the opening. Now I have very comfortable material advantage and positional one at the same time because I will be attacking this d4. Yeah, just e6, right? Preparing the development of the dark squared bishop. Yeah, very pleasant position for black. So, as far as I understand, Olaf smokes. Crowning student says same here. What do you mean? Do you smoke as well? Knight c3. Alright. Bishop b4 looks nice. Bishop d6 looks nice. Let's put it on b4. Why not? To take there or not to take there? Maybe just to go back with the bishop because I provoked a3, which means b3 is weak. That was the main idea behind it. Yeah, let's go away. You know where? Let's put it on e7. Let's see. Yeah, it will be very hard for white to prove anything in this position. There is definitely no sufficient compensation for a pawn. Pawn on d4 is weak. b3 square is weak. And it's unclear to me how white is going to play in general. What is the plan? Probably just creating some threats. One move after another should be not enough. But who knows? Taking into account the previous game, which I completely misplayed at some point, I think white has chances still. Now, is it the time for me to capture on f3 and to capture on d4? I think it's a great time because queen on d2 is not protected. So after bishop f3 and knight d4, I create a threat of winning the queen. That's the point. All right. Knight takes f3 now. Simply two healthy extra pawns. Knight c2 winning the exchange is also absolutely a valid idea. What's better? To be an exchange up or to eliminate potentially the most annoying piece? I think I'm okay with just two pawns, which is good enough for me. The only thing is to protect this one on b7. So I somehow thought I would have this knight d5, but now I understand there is rook d1. My goodness. So stupid blunders. So queen c8. Ugly move. It's really tempting just to play queen c6 to fight for d5 square. I mean, queen c6, queen takes, pawn takes, but then bishop d6 is not entirely clear to me. So I would rather play bishop f6. Maybe at some point I would just capture that knight and put my knight on d5. At the moment I have some slight problems with coordinating my pieces the right way. Let's see. Yeah, let's take this one. In this particular case, I guess my knight on d5 is much more important than the fact that I captured the knight with the bishop. Kramnik student just commanded Andrey never misses a chance to grab a bishop. That's right. Okay, queen c6 doesn't make sense. Yeah, why not? Very natural square for queen. Rook d4. Here I wanted to play f6 move. Controlling e5. Just preventing bishop from going there. Queen g4 attacks my c4. I can take on c3 if I want. But then rook c4 is unclear. So I would rather just protect the pawn. Yeah, there is no chance, in fact, for white in such a position. Everything was more or less decided in the opening stage. There was a transposition to Panov attack. I mean, there was a famous line like e4, c6, d4, d5, ed5, cd5, c4, knight f6, knight c3, knight c6, knight to f3, bishop g4. So as you can see, it's almost the same. The difference is that in our game there was a bishop on f4. Here is the knight on c3 instead. And if I'm not mistaken, here white can capture here. Knight takes d5. Queen goes to b3. This is an old famous line like bishop takes, g takes, or queen b7 first. I don't quite remember. Yeah, so there is this knight b6, d5, goes to d4, bishop b5. I don't remember this line, but there was the game between Fischer and Ava many years ago. I cannot recall it, actually, because I was playing Panova attack as white many years ago when I was a kid. And back then, I, of course, knew the right order of moves, so to say. But in general, black is okay there. With the bishop on f4, I think there is a big difference because there is no knight on c3, so there is no basically danger to my d5, right? So, where were we? Yeah, here we go. So now I create a bunch of direct threats. At least I'll have the time to play e6 and to develop my dark squid bishop, if compared to that knight c3 and immediate cd5 or queen b3 or something. So if you play knight c3 here, I still believe it was probably an interesting move. But bishop takes f3 here. Simple as that. So if you take with the queen, I just take on d4 with the tempo. But maybe that is what you should have tried, because in this case, after knight d4, you just come back, say, or maybe, yeah, queen d1, attacking the knight. d5 is hanging behind. It should be good. Should be all right here with white. You have pair of bishops. You always have this knight b5 threat, and so forth. So maybe it was not a direct threat even. I mean, to take on f3 and to take on d4. Probably knight c3 was just all right. Okay. Because after bishop e2, I believe I'm really better. So I just take on c4. And as we may notice, if compared to position of the knight on c3, you don't have d5 here, which is typical thing in such a situation. So I control d5 sufficiently, and I'm ready to blockade this pawn next move. Having no problems here, I mean, okay. Let's go further. Let's go further. Thanks for the game, anyway. Creditless, accept. So maybe there will be one more loss right now, because creditless has 2600s. Pretty strong guy. Let's play. Creditless, your move. Your move. You're playing with white. So you are online, which means, yeah, it's time to start. Here we go. Let's start with this. Let's take. Usually white plays e3. c3 is different. And I think I have some ideas connected with this queen b6 move. Is it really good for white? I mean, even after this, I should be okay. Completely okay with black. I mean, I attack d4 now. And can create some threats if I want. So queen takes b3, a b3, knight b4, attacking c2, but maybe they are just short-term problems for white. Maybe not problems at all. What about bishop b4 check here? Looks more or less interesting. So white has a choice, and probably this choice is not necessarily that pleasant. Now I can basically play knight to e4 with the idea of taking on c3 with the bishop, then taking the queen, then taking the pawn, like creating a direct threat, and maybe even g5, doing something to that bishop. Okay, looks tempting, so let's try it. Knight e4. Good central square for the knight. Concrete threat of winning a pawn. If necessary, I can protect this knight with a d7, d5 move. Or even f7, f5. Let's see. Queen goes away. Protecting the pawn this way. I can attack the knight one more time with the queen a5, but then what? I'm not sure I will get anything specific. So queen a5, if queen e4, then bishop c3, check, takes, a1 rook is heading. So queen a5 is definitely possible. Is it really necessary? I'm not sure, but let's try it anyway. Looks like another tempo move. I can take the pawn on a2 at some point, of course not right now, because my knight on e4 is hanging. So let's protect the knight, right? Let's protect the knight. Have no idea if there is anything for me. But I can try something like this, I guess. And there is sort of Stonewall. Sort of Stonewall. Very strange version of it. What is the plan in Stonewall? Bishop d7, bishop e8, bishop h5, right? Should I try it right now? Taking on c3 is probably not that great because after bc3 there will be c4 resource. This bishop is needed usually to cover dark squares that are quite weak. Taking on g3 with the knight is probably possible, but I'm not sure if it is worth doing because... On the other hand, it's okay. I mean, if we imagine that white manages to play knight e5, then exchange on e5, bishop e5, then f3, well, this knight will be anyway not that good. Okay, I know maybe it's just a terrible mistake, but bishop is a bishop. Let's keep on playing. Let's just complete the development and see what's going on there. So at least now white doesn't have this great control of e5 if compared to the situation when the bishop is still on the board. Now what I wanted to do is to put my bishop here on d6, controlling e5 additionally. There is still a plan of attack. On the king's side, so this g3 looks like a hook. So we will try something. I guess position should be more or less balanced, but we can notice that my opponent has much more time on the clock. So I have to be really careful. And fast at the same time. So here we go. Don't know. Double attack, sort of. Knight is hanging and queen as well. But still, the problem with the time. Serious one. Okay. There is this pawn. How to coordinate my pieces, I don't really know. Nah. Stupid. Very stupid. Only 5 seconds left. So it's basically lost now. Come on, man. Yeah, lost. So position was absolutely alright, but I had no time, simply. I was just too slow. I was just too slow at some point. I guess I managed to outplay my opponent. So here, I missed this knight c6 threat. Followed by knight to e8. Maybe it was okay. So knight c6 takes here, knight d8. So somewhere here I should have played better. So rook a2 is probably okay. After knight e6, yes, of course. Bishop c3 is very bad. On the other hand, it's not so simple in general. But rook c2, I guess, was absolutely forced to control c7. So now let's say knight goes to f4, for instance. And can I do something with this? Maybe it's not so easy, in fact. Probably somewhere here. You know, Queen c2 was so natural. Was really hard to play something else when you have Queen c2 with this simple plan of attacking that pawn. But probably I just underestimated White's counterplay against e6 pawn. There is also an idea of playing knight to d3 simply next move. Yeah, probably I just overestimated my position here. But at some point it was quite okay. I mean, somewhere here, I believe it was quite good. Maybe I missed something. Something like knight c4 now. Looks interesting, by the way, immediately. Attacking b5 and attacking the queen. If bishop takes, pawn takes. If rook takes, I just take on b5. If pawn takes here, I just... Well, I can, by the way, play even b5. With the idea of bishop c5 and rook a6 then. I can also just take here. The knight is hanging. If rook b5, there is still bishop b5 and so forth. So yeah, black was okay. But I spent a lot of time and my opponent exploited this. Great game. Thanks for this experience. Let's go further. On M is the next. There was a question, could you remove rook back to c7 and get behind the pawn? It's too slow. I mean, when the knight goes and attacks d5, whenever knight takes on d5, it also attacks the bishop on b4. So, I wish I could, of course, put my rook behind the pawn and then just push it. But I believe I didn't have enough time for that. Okay, so close Catalan. I had this close Catalan against Olaf, which white pieces. Now I'm playing with black. Hopefully, I will demonstrate some typical ideas. Okay, after bishop b4, I don't see why can't I play knight to d7. Let's take here simply. Knight d7. I think it's fine. Queen a4 is strange, so it gives me a chance to play knight to c5 with the tempo. d4 is a possibility here. g5 taking the pawn on e5 is risky, but something also typical for this line. So let's try this g5, just attacking the bishop and taking the pawn next move. Bishop b3. Okay, let's take. That's a good question. So by taking on d5 with the c6 pawn, I make my bishop slightly more active. Slightly. But taking with the e pawn, I prevent the knight from jumping to b5. I don't think that knight b5 is very dangerous, so I'm tempted to take with this pawn. Now what? a6 followed by b5, then knight c4. Looks like an option. Knight to c4, attacking b2 and the bishop on e3. Looks like a move, which is even better. But after knight c4, there is something like knight d5. E takes d5, rook takes c4, d takes c4, rook takes d8, rook takes d8, bishop b7. So maybe it's impossible. On the other hand, after knight c4, knight e5, there is knight takes b2 attacking the queen. Knight f6, bishop f6, rook d8, knight takes a4 should be playable for me. So knight c4, knight e5, knight takes b2. Don't know. Knight e7, queen e7. Looks okay. I hope I don't blunder something really simple here. Oh, simply queen takes c4. Really simple. Okay. That is again about my actual form. It's awful. Oh. Okay. Let's try to save it somehow. Oh my goodness. That was so obvious, in fact. But somehow not for me. Fantastic thing. Of course, instead of knight c4, I should have played a6 with the idea of b5 and then knight to c4 at the right moment. Maybe queen e8 was also a valid option, like trying to exchange queens there. There were a lot of interesting possibilities, a lot of interesting moves. Instead, I decided to play knight c4, which felt dubious. And here's the main reason why it was a bad decision. No, it's just it's awful. Simply awful how I played this evening. Great move. What do I have here? Rook f7 is probably my only chance. Oh, bishop c8. Wow. What the hell is going on? This guy is really strong. It's really strong. Okay, rook c7, bishop e6, but then I go back to f7, right? Come on. Well, maybe it was too much. Too strong, I mean. Too nice to be true. That's what I mean. So extra exchange now, which is quite pleasant. Which is quite pleasant. I still have to win it. Taking into account how I play this evening, it will be very challenging task, I believe. What is great here, I have more time on the clock. So whatever happens, I will just play in time. Okay, I think I don't need this time thing. I can win it without it. So g3, knight f3, g2. Lots of possible ways to win this position. Let's try just the easiest one. Okay, knight here. Let's put the rook on h3. e4. Okay, let's take it. No. There is no chance. No chance anymore. Right. I was very lucky. So after rook f7, I was about to believe my opponent. I mean, bishop c8 looked so interesting, like bishop e6 check and so forth, but rook goes back to f7, and I'm up in material. So probably just taking on f7 was an interesting move. Just takes. Knight a7, I just play rook to d7, so white has to avoid it. In general, of course, it would be better for white to keep that rook on the board, I suppose. So after bishop takes here, maybe just to do what? Play bishop d4. Was it possible just to simplify position this way? So takes, knight takes, attacking e6 already. Then, if necessary, just protecting the knight with the e3. Should be just very simple win for white. Again, if I don't blunder something simple here. But I don't think I blunder. So bishop d4 was very strong instead of rook c7. Okay, anyway, thanks a lot for this game that was quite nervous. Zurin, 77. Let's go there. Here we are. So let's play e4. Come on, my friend. It's your turn. Alright, sorry for that, but there are some other challengers. So, big boy, you are the next. Big boy, it's your turn now. You're playing with white pieces. E3. Alright. Tricky, sneaky E3 move. Let's go E5. C4. So now we have English opening. I'm just going to develop the pieces the normal way. Okay, G3. Let's play D5. Just like Sicilian reversed. What if knight to B4? My idea is very straightforward when I put it on D3 with check. Or maybe I want to bring my queen to D3 and then knight C2 will be a threat. Let us see what my opponent allows me to do. Bishop C6. Alright, now I have a very interesting choice. So I can take with the knight, I can take with the pawn. I mean, if I take with the knight, I simply have pair of bishops and strategically winning position, since white has all light squares completely weak and no light square bishop on the board anymore. After bc6, I have the same, but slightly damaged pawns on the queen side. But still a threat of knight d3, so I think dynamically bc6 is much more promising. This knight on b4 creates a lot of threats, not only to d3 square, but also to c2. So I'm not sure if white has a good defense. Yeah, long term, this position should be winning for black. I hope that short term it is the same. So e4, e4, like bishop f5. Is again very simple, very straightforward, and probably just efficient at the same time. Bishop a6 is another direction, just to create a sort of knight to d3. Also looks very good. I don't know what is better. Let's try bishop a6. Looks nice. There was a suggestion, e4, e4, and queen d4. Yeah, it was possible. Of course, typical thing in such a situation with the idea of knight c2, knight d4. But I want to save my queen on the board because I believe I can have some sort of dangerous attack. And when you are going to attack, it's better to have the queen on the board. That's the thing. That's why I decided not to do that. Although it was absolutely valid, absolutely possible. And gave black just a solid, decent advantage. Alright, now. Queen d7 is tempting, but then castling. So knight d3 check. To start with. King goes to f1, I suppose. Otherwise, I just take on f2. Yeah. And now what? Now queen f6 looks very tempting. With two ideas, just to capture on f2 and another one to bring the queen to f3. So let's say if knight goes to a4, then I bring my queen to f3. Should be very annoying for white. But f4, yeah. This gives white a chance to play on. Let's take the pawn. And then probably I'll just castle. So e4 castles long. Looks like a good idea. e4 is just too much. What if I just play queen f5, attacking it, and creating sort of queen h3? Should be just a disaster. So takes f2, or takes c1 simply. Takes c1, rook takes, d takes e3. Looks also absolutely playable. So let's try it. I mean, rook takes c1, d takes e3, knight is hanging if knight goes away, queen h3 or something. If queen takes here, I wanted to do something like queen to b5, right? Yeah, queen to b5. Looks good. Protecting c6 and attacking the knight on e2. Against this, I have bishop b4. Very strong tempo move. And it should be over, I guess. So d takes e3 now. Followed by rook to d8. Okay, queen e4 check is a threat, so let's castle first. And then rook d2. Aha. Maybe there will be no chance for me to play that move at all. Okay, then let's play queen h5. Queen f3 was, of course, much stronger, but anyway, position was already lost. I think it's a bad idea to play like this. I mean, giving me a chance to play knight to b4 doesn't look very good. I mean, after knight b4, it's already quite hard for white to find a good move. So I do believe instead of g3, d4 is something much more ambitious and correct in the sense of the spirit of the opening and the order of moves you chose. Okay, thanks anyway. Let's go further. The next is Mr. Normal Name. Accept. Alright, so now I understand that random means not like the official random in challenges, but random side, white or black. So all these challenges were just normal challenges. Oh my goodness. My vacation was probably too long. I forgot everything. Mr. Normal Name, you're welcome to make your move. e4 was played. Alright. Takes too long. Sorry for that. Louisin is the next. Accept. Blind Witch Black. e4. e5. So the first time somebody plays e4 against me this evening, right? Nice. So bishop takes c6. Okay. Exchange through Lopez. Nice stuff. d4. ed4. Queen takes d4 immediately. Alright, bishop g4 is absolutely playable here, but I think queen takes d4 is also not that bad. Let's go there. Bishop to g5. Okay, so there are different options. One of them being knight to e7, just preparing castling immediately. Knight goes to c3. Castles. And rook to e8. Something typical. Going away from the d file, then preparing something like knight g6. Maybe f5 was also an interesting idea for me, to be honest. But I think we should deal with the development first. Should deal with this bishop f8. Let's say bishop to d6 doesn't look necessarily that terrible. So bishop d6. What if I just play bishop b4 now? Does it make any sense? Attacking that knight. Then bishop d2 is more or less forced. And then what? Nothing specific, I believe. If I play c5, on the other hand, there is knight f5. Not necessarily that pleasant. Let's check what white wanted to play against bishop b4 anyway. Yeah, bishop d2. Rook e3 was wrong, as well as rook to d3. There were some problems with that bishop on g5. But bishop d2 is just okay. Knight e5, then f4 or something. In this case, however, I will have some sort of object of attack on e4, so maybe it's a good provocation or something. Let's go there. Let's see, at least. And that goes to e2. I'm not really sure if I should exchange this bishop. Probably no. Normally, it's better to keep a pair of bishops in such a situation when you have a bad pawn structure. On the other hand, I don't know where to go with this guy. c5 or d6. d6. Let's go back. So we've tried bishop b4, didn't achieve anything, and just, went back to d6. Not necessarily that inspiring. But c4 weakens d3 square again. I'm not sure I can somehow cash on it, but knight d3, rook f1, then what? c5 maybe? Or maybe c5 first. Yeah, c5 now looks interesting. Because if knight f5, I just take it and then knight d3. This sort of tactics. And if knight goes away, I can try some like f5. Undermining the e4. So c4 is too much, I guess. Just not that well prepared. So now f5 immediately or knight d3 first and then f5. I think both look quite promising. So let's go there. Tempo move. And now f5 undermining the pawn. Trying to use the fact that knight is hanging on e2. Okay, looks not that bad for black anymore. So c4 was a mistake. Prior to c4, white's position was probably not that active, but quite solid, and something very typical for exchange to real opus. Now, there are some problems. There are some problems. So here is an isolated pawn to start with. Knight to b2 followed by rook e4, or maybe simple knight to e5 move. I'm not sure. Let's just go to e5. After all, we have an isolated pawn to attack. So, strategic advantage. Knight g4 is a direct tactical threat. Okay, maybe white is not going to do anything against it at all. Because after knight g4, there was a possibility to play something like rook f7. So let's start with some general things improving my position. Interesting stuff. Can I take with the bishop? Rook goes to f2. Not sure. Let's just take with the pawn. Technically, probably bishop b5 was a bit more interesting. But I'm just blundering everything this evening, so it's better not to risk that much. Just playing normal moves, improving the position little by little. That's a good strategy for me, I believe. At least for this very evening. "27 seconds, that's a pity. Because white is completely outplayed here. I'm just losing on time. e4 drops now, right? Right. That's a good thing. That was absolutely incorrect from a positional point of view, but just wanted to simplify the things because I have no time at all. Yeah, checkmate. Of course, it was necessary to like run away with the king from this checkmate, and there was a good chance to at least flag me or something. But all right. Actually, I deserved this win, and during the game, I've already told you why the problem started. So c4 was not prepared after this move. d3 was weakened seriously, and I got this very simple counterplay along the e file. So this, and somehow my pieces are much better coordinated here. I mean, at least there is an isolated pawn now. Still, there was a chance to play something like knight c3. I believe this was the most tested move, because if I take on e4, knight takes e4, and position is still playable, far from advantage for black or something. But here I wanted to try something like this. That was my main idea. So tricky move, attacking the knight, and if you take, I take with the pawn attacking the knight, and then e4 drops, so you have to do something else. Maybe knight to e3. Not sure. Then I can try taking on e4, because if I take with the knight, I just take on a2. Well, it's absolutely unclear, because my knight might be trapped there. So I don't know. Interesting game, and probably the last one for today. Krista Kegels. Accept. And one more game with black pieces. Okay. So, Italian, right? Knight takes c4. It's quite good here, I think. It's a tricky line, obviously, but I mean, in my opinion, it's quite good for black. So I don't think white has anything better than taking my knight here, to be honest. So I'm not sure why white is thinking. Yeah, it's the only move. And again, probably taking on e7 is the only move. Of course, maybe white will find something better, but I don't think there is anything. And knight to c3. So usually white plays castle in short immediately. Then black plays on like king d8 and so forth. I guess knight c3 gives me a very simple ending. I just take on c3. My pawn structure is better. I have a bishop against the knight with pawns on both flanks. My king is quite active. It can go to f6 if I need. Should be pleasant position for me to play. Alright, now bishop b6. Or just king f6 to start with. If I play king f6, then that goes to d2. So I don't want to really define the position of my king too early. I guess I will just play this. And I wanted to put my bishop on d5. I hope it's okay. Now I control e4, e6, f7, everything, basically. King f6, knight e4 check, right? So let's go to d7 instead. Nice centralized bishop now. I'll just attack this knight with h6 if necessary. Rook e8 is also very simple continuation here. Rook f8 can be also something interesting. What to do? Let's play h6 first. Aha, didn't expect that. I expect knight e4 followed by knight e2 and then trying to play c4. So against this, I will just play rook f8, controlling f4 square. Rook e7 is a threat. So now I can just play rook e8, just exchanging all the rooks if I want. There is also a possibility just to play rook f7, controlling e7 and still controlling f4. I think it's better to keep rooks for now, for some time. Maybe it's wrong. Maybe immediate rook e8 was better. Don't know. g3, what's that? Knight f4 is the ideal, right? So let's prevent it, or no. That goes to f4. On the other hand, it's not the end of the world. I can play bishop c4 or something. But it feels like it's better for me to limit the activity of that guy somehow. Maybe it's completely wrong again. So now I can try h5. This looks like an interesting option. Because g5 is not hanging, right? And then maybe even h4, exerting some pressure, starts looking like a minority attack. King e2 was played, right? Right. Now what? Now bishop c4 check. We're just taking on f4, knight f4, rook f4, gf4, rook g2 check. Is it something? I'll definitely have some compensation. Do I really need it? Not sure. So something simple like gf4, knight f4, or maybe bishop c4 to start with right now. King goes to d2, and then g takes f4, knight takes f4, rook f4, gf4. Again, I'm just trying to somehow sacrifice the exchange, but what for? If I don't sacrifice the exchange, then what to do with the g5? There's, of course, a possibility just to play bishop c4, then g4, knight f4, and h4, creating that one weakness. Is it really enough? I don't know. No time. No time, simply. So let's go there and see. Okay, I can see 6. So white's pawns are quite weak, so I have good chances here, I believe. Attacking f4, as simple as that. h5 is invulnerable for now, but maybe I made a mistake. Because now my king is in danger. Yeah, I made a stupid mistake. Yeah, I'm definitely playing with the fire, because my position is already quite bad. Made several mistakes. Should have played king b6 simply before that. Idiot. Oh. No, don't play like that. I think it's lost simply. Yeah, taking into account the situation on the clock, I guess it's just lost. For me. Only a miracle can help. Come on. There will be no miracle, I believe. Yeah, lost in time. Okay, that was absolutely unnecessary stuff. At some point I had very good position. Somewhere here, most likely, in general, g5 was not correct. So probably I should have played some like bishop c4, maybe king c6 to start with. Or maybe just, move my bishop to b7, I don't know. The idea being after knight f4 just to attack that knight, only after that. Who knows? In general, black's position should be, of course, slightly better here. Maybe not even slightly. So after king f2, I guess g5 was definitely a mistake. Instead of doing that, it was better to grab some additional space on the queen side, most likely like a5, a4. Cannot be that bad idea for black. At any point of time when position is being opened, the fixed weakness on a3 and the pawn on a4 will give black a great advantage. Because whenever a3 drops, let's say this pawn has to make only 3 moves to become a queen. Okay, h5 shouldn't be that terrible, but exchange sacrifice was absolutely not necessary. So, generally speaking, g takes f4 should have been played after bishop c4 check, most likely. So check first, then I don't know where the king goes, most likely to d2, then takes here, right? Knight takes, then h4, creating this new weakness on g3 in addition to a3 potentially, and trying to attack it, trying to come up with probably opening the h file and using it to penetrate white's camp. So taking on g3, something like rook h7, rook h2, or maybe first rook h7 and then something like that. So I guess black should be, well, at least slightly better. Okay, anyway, thanks a lot for being with me. Feels like we somehow managed to solve the problem, right? So we're playing normal chess, not Fischer random. See you next week, guys. As usual, training Tuesday and Banter Blitz. Just repeating the information I shared with you a few episodes ago, 2 episodes ago actually. No late Friday nights Banter Blitz shows anymore, at least from me. So every Thursday, 8 p.m. standard beginning time. Okay, wish you all the best and hopefully see you very, very soon. Bye bye.